Hello Cancer, and welcome to your in-depth monthly horoscope for April for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some standout details to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail all the ins and outs, particularly relevant to your sign. Now, of course, the moon is your ruler, so we have to look at the lunations. And on the 6th, there is a full moon in the part of your horoscope that's very much to do with your home and emotional situation, the 4th solar house. But the professional side of things is perhaps going to be a little bit demanding at times this month because there will be big opportunities. So that's exciting. I can't wait to share that with you. And then on the 20th, we have a solar eclipse, which again is happening in your sector of success, but right in the last minutes of the sign of Aries. But it is in a square with the very potent energies of Pluto. And that's going to provide a backdrop for the following 6 months. So 2 massive events in this month, particularly for your sign. So please stay with me for more. Now, if you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you a life roadmap report which can really help you to understand some of the patterns that have played out throughout your life and get a much more intimate understanding, the more challenging ones, but also the ones that present opportunities. Understanding those patterns is a lot to do with how we can take more control of our lives. And in my special package, you can also get your 12-month personal forecast, and there's 30% off. If you don't know your time, I have designed a new set of charts which can work with that. We don't use the ascendant and we use whole sign astrology, but based on the sun. And this will help you to reflect in my videos in a very, very positive way. Again, there's 30% off if you have the analysis and the forecast. Please see below for more on that too. So Cancer, your April begins with Venus, the planet of love and affection, in a tight embrace with Uranus. Don't be surprised if a friend gets in contact completely out of the blue and asks you to do something spontaneously, which really could throw your plans into turmoil or delight you. It depends on the type of Cancer you are. Now, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. But by the 3rd, Mercury makes its way also into the sign of Taurus, where Venus is, but it is clashing almost immediately with Pluto. Now, Taurus for you is about your future plans. It's also about your network, your interactions with friends, but it's also about your higher principle. So Mercury in a clash with Pluto suggests that something you feel strongly about could come into conflict with someone who sees something in a very different way. And you could have quite a big discussion that could border, if one of you feels strongly enough, it could border on getting a little bit testy. However, through the first week, Mars in your sign, which is giving you a tremendous amount of support. It's really exciting that it's here. Of course, it joined you on the 25th of last month. It's with you all month, and it's forging a great link with Saturn. Now think about the archetypes. Mars is about action and about self-confidence and living in the moment. And Saturn's about consideration, caution and careful planning. So when they're working well together, Saturn, like Mars, in the water sign of Pisces, that gets a nice balance. And that Saturnian energy could see you thinking about opening up your hopes on a situation that does require care and, you know, going in stages in a very formulaic but thorough way. But Mars can give you the thrust to move forwards on something that's really important to you. However, the full moon on the 6th in the sign of Libra is house 4 for you. But from the 6th through to the 15th, the sun starts to forge a wonderful alliance with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth and the planet of opportunity. They come into an exact conjunction on the 11th. The conjunction is when they're side by side as we see it from planet Earth. But in astrology, it gives the combination much greater vibrancy and strength. And I feel that the full moon for you, which Jupiter is pretty close to, is in your sector of goals and ambitions and how you connect to the wider world, the 10th house. And perhaps just at this point where you see opportunities, there may be something to do with your home life that demands your attention. Perhaps it could be elderly parents, maybe it could be young children, maybe it could be your own emotional needs getting a little bit sidelined by the push for success. But because Uranus is in the mix and forging a tense angle to the moon, it's important that you're not being too idealistic or too future forward in your planning, that you're not taking into account your more immediate emotional needs and the need for security. So it's an opportunity, that full moon, but one with a few challenges. Now, Mercury moved into Taurus on the 3rd, but by the 7th it starts to slow down. This is because it's entered its pre-shadow retrograde period. It goes into retrograde this month on the 21st. It emerges on the 15th of May and then comes out of the post-retrograde shadow at the end of May. So you can see that for 3 weeks of this month and virtually the whole of May, communication around your long-term plans, friendships, groups, but also those more idealistic ideas, things could slow down, which could be frustrating. So just bear that in mind. But as the Sun and Jupiter come into that glorious conjunction on the 11th, it could coincide with a seriously good piece of news, and it may be linked to a job application, a business that you're running, a business that you're already involved with. Maybe it's to do with a property matter. The 10th house can be to do with bricks and mortar, and Jupiter, of course, can be about neat luck. So something could manifest on the 11th, but Venus on the same day arrives in your 12th house. And if your love life is not quite as where you'd like it to be, I think the following few weeks are going to give you a lot of food for thought. It actually forges a very positive link to Pluto. So I feel that you can see the opportunities around your social situation and long-term plan, perhaps even the opportunities in terms of more immediate goals, but your more personal situation can benefit from your analysis, which can often be very shrewd. But from the 16th to the 24th, despite Mercury's pre-retrograde shadow, it is conjunct Uranus. And you could change your mind several times across those days about a long-term plan. If that happens, don't beat yourself up about it. Mercury retrograde anyway tends to see that happening for us all. But the 20th sees that solar eclipse. So for the next 6 months, if you really have the appetite to be very bold, this is going to be very enabling. And Pluto, strangely, in the right angle with Jupiter that occurs on this event, that can give you even more desire to go for what you need to go for. But because the Sun moves later that day into Taurus, it's saying to you, it is going to be a case of who as much as what you know. So neat ambition alone is not necessarily going to take you to where you want to be. You have to work collaboratively and collegiately with others if you're really going to make progress. And Mercury going retrograde on the 21st suggests that that might actually be a little bit challenging, because some of the people you may try to link out to may prove to be less cooperative than you would like. Despite that, Cancer, Mars in your sign forges an ace link with Uranus through the last 8 or 9 days. Something quite unexpected could happen, and it could be that someone's going to follow your lead and celebrate the fact, as a cardinal sign, you are one of the 4 members of the zodiac, which is very much aligned to decision making and taking responsibility. But Uranus can bring a little bit more of a radical, spontaneous energy, and maybe you're going to seize an opportunity quickly. But also, the Sun in your sector of collectiveness and communication and network with others forges a very stable link with Saturn. So I think as this month draws to a close, despite Mercury's retrograde, despite the challenges of the two lunations, because with Pluto squaring that solar eclipse there is a challenge, I feel you can still find ways to progress.